Welcome back to News Talk, 14 before the hour now. Thursday is Cinco de Mayo. If you're going to be getting your Rita on or your Corona or your whatever, think about how you're going to get home in one piece without harming others. Kurt Erickson, our friend from the Washington Regional Alcohol Program, joins us now. Great to have you back.
Thanks for having us.
Timely having you back. You're up and running with your award-winning and life-saving program many times a year, and this is one of them.
Yeah, this is only the second year we've done this specific holiday, so I think most people know us for St. Patrick's Day and July 4th and Halloween and the period leading up to and including New Year's Eve. But we started Cinco de Mayo, which is our first different holiday campaign in over 2 decades. We had tremendous success with it last year. We had 164 people do the right thing and use the program last Cinco de Mayo. I would expect our ridership would be very similar this Thursday.
What brought you to the decision to add it to your calendar?
You know, it's really our hospitality partners, which are a key partner in RAP's efforts, and they saw a real need for this. I mean, obviously there's people that would like us to do this year-round and various other holidays, but really they saw a nexus between a need for this and what the government figures were showing, that at least on Cinco de Mayo in this country, perhaps surprisingly, you have as much as, in 2014, over a third of all traffic fatalities being alcohol-related. The year before that it was 40%. So there's a significant uptick in drunk driving, these preventable fatalities occurring on this Mexican holiday.
So you had the desire to add it, and you had the resources, or you went out and found the resources to be able to add what is a heavy lift to run this.
That's a great question, and I don't think we ever get asked that, which is we didn't have the resources. We're a 3-person nonprofit organization. I think people probably need to underscore that more than what we do. I think sobriety has become so institutionalized, which is a great thing, and the fact that it's been around since 1993 and over 64,000 people have taken advantage of it. But I think people think there's some government entity, behemoth behind it, when in fact there's a 3-person 501c3 organization that actually foots the bill of about $40,000 just for the cab fares for this program on an annual basis. So yeah, we had to go back out to the field with our wonderful sponsors, get the funding in the bank to be able to do this, and what we're glad to be able to pull off this Thursday.
What is it that people can do if they're out celebrating a Thursday evening and a friend or they themselves figures, I drove here, but I should not be driving home? Also, what do you do? How do you avail yourself?
First of all, ideally, we'd like people to plan ahead. That's simply not done enough. And you've got, you know, in this town, it's certainly a metro town. It's certainly a cab town. You've got a program like Sobriety. It's not just going to be available till midnight or 1 a.m. or even 2 a.m., but actually 4 a.m., the day after, 4 hours after Cinco de Mayo, you can still avail yourselves of this life-saving program. But we'd urge people to put the number into their phone, even though we've bent over backwards to make it an easy number. It's 1-800-200-TAXI. I suppose if it's 2 in the morning and you're in your cups, it may not be that easy to remember. So program it in your phone ahead. But most responsible servers in the greater Washington area actually know this number, and they often, frankly, are the persons that will actually call for somebody else.
I would think the person at the door is that sort of last line of defense if a bartender doesn't notice because they're so busy running around, or the manager, if they don't notice, that person at the door who sees the wobbling and the weavy behavior, and person reaching for the keys puts two and two together and says, I don't like where this is headed.
Absolutely, and especially knowing that it's free. Again, we pay up to a $30 fare. The average fare for this program is less than $22, so it really does capture the majority of fares. But let's say your fare is $35. You're going somewhere far from the D.C. metro area. We're still going to pay for the first 30. You're simply going to be on the hook for 5. So it does capture the majority of fares. Therefore, it is free, and we offer this till 4 a.m. the day after Cinco de Mayo. You know, with all of that said, I can't think of a single valid excuse for somebody to get behind the wheel of a car after they've been drinking on Cinco de Mayo.
And I'm sorry, say again what the hours are.
4 p.m. starts at 4 p.m. on Cinco de Mayo, so Thursday, May 5th, until 4 a.m., so 12 consecutive hours the following day.
Do you start so early so if people take the day off and
Absolutely. Yep, same thing with St. Patrick's Day and so forth.
So people could be bombed at 5 p.m.
Who knows? The fact of the matter is we want to make sure that we have the tightest safety net we can. And by the way, it's not just for the benefit of the would-be drunk driver, but it's for the benefit of all the other persons sharing the roads with that person. So there's a selfish benefit to getting would-be drunk drivers off the roadways by getting them into a free cab like this program does.
How do we get a program such as yours in every big city in America?
Yeah, you know, we've constantly been asked, and we've been modestly used as a model in some of the other cities that have pulled this off, but it's not an easy feat. The fact of the matter is, like I said, it's privately paid for, so there's corporate sponsors that have to go. We contract actually 9 different cab companies that pull this off. It's not easy to do, but when you've seen the life-saving benefits of this, not just measured in the 64,000 people that have utilized the program, but the fact that the greater Washington area is consistently below the national average of fatalities that are alcohol alcohol-related. So that's 31% at the national average. 31% of all fatals are alcohol-related.
Kurt, hang on for 1 second. Police Chief Kathy Lanier is at the microphone now. We mentioned that a Metro bus was hijacked this morning in Northeast, and the Chief has the latest.
A person boarded a Metro bus in the 3800 block of J Street Northeast. That person, once they enter the bus, he's an adult male, enters the bus. He remains standing up around the driver of the bus and does not take a seat. The bus proceeds to the next stop about 90 seconds. When the bus comes to a stop, 800 block of Kenilworth, the suspect then attacks the driver. All the passengers flee from the bus immediately when they see the attack going on. The bus driver is able to get free and get off the bus. The suspect then, during the attack, pulls some sort of weapon. We don't know what it is yet. Shuts the door and takes the bus. So the suspect drives the bus over here to Minnesota Avenue and Burroughs. He enters the gas station here on the corner, goes over the curb, and strikes a pedestrian. Right now, we know that all of the individuals involved are adult males. There's no juveniles involved. There's only one suspect. We have that suspect in custody. Metropolitan police officers arrive on the scene when the bus comes to a stop here at the gas station, are able to get the suspect off the bus. So he is in our custody. The pedestrian that was struck has been pronounced, so he is deceased. Right now, all we know is that all are adult males, no juveniles involved, and no second suspect.
And what about the weapon? Do you know?
We do have a weapon. I don't want to get into details on that right now, but he did have a weapon of some sort.
Where was the pedestrian struck, Chief?
The pedestrian was on the parking lot of the gas station here at Minnesota and Burroughs.
So as the bus came to a stop here and crashed, it hit the pedestrian first?
So the bus mounted the curb into the parking lot and then mounted another curb in the parking lot and struck a pedestrian.
How was the suspect taken into custody? Was he lingering here? Did he attempt to flee?
Officers were on the scene very quickly. The Metro driver pushed the emergency button. So officers are here on the scene quickly, and they were able to get him off the bus after just a couple minutes.
What is his condition? Is he...
The suspect, appeared to me to be very distraught and violent. He was violently resisting the officers when they took him off the bus.
Was he taken to the hospital as well?
I believe he was.
Was someone dragged? Or was that the pedestrian that was struck? Was dragged by the bus?
I don't have those details. All I know is that there was a person struck.
And
so
this whole lasted a very short period of time then?
The entire duration of the event was less than 3 minutes. So.
And what can you tell us about the person who was killed?
I can't tell you anything right now. All I can tell you is that is an adult male. We haven't even confirmed an identity yet.
What do you make of this, Chief?
It's a bizarre incident, very uncharacteristic for someone to try and take a bus and attack a bus driver. As we said, the whole incident occurred in less than 3 minutes. The officers did a great job in bringing the suspect into custody and not being injured because he was armed with a weapon. And, as you know, everything on the bus is captured by video. So we have video of the entire incident.
Thank you. And the suspect got on where again? Just right up? Right.
He got on at 3800 block of J Street Northeast.
Just right over.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just sort of wrap this up for you.
D.C. Police Chief Kathy Lanier describing for us a wild scene, a very sad scene. She described it herself as bizarre. It all began in the 3800 block of J Street Northeast a short time ago. A bus driver, a Metro bus driver, attacked with an armed Metro bus driver attacked by an armed assailant, someone who got on the bus, lingered near the front, eventually attacking the bus driver. Passengers seeing all this, fleeing the scene, fleeing the vehicle. The driver eventually able to get himself free from this attacker and off the bus. The suspect then driving the bus away, crashing at Minnesota Avenue and Burroughs Avenue, striking a pedestrian in the process, the pedestrian later dying. The chief of police in the District of Columbia identifying the victim only as an adult male. No ID on that person as of now, but an innocent life in the nation's capital lost as a result of someone bus-jacking a Metro bus today, driving it away, hitting someone as they went up and over a curb. An adult male, that is all we know about the person who has lost their life this day, struck and killed. A suspect in custody, and if I heard Chief Lanier correctly, she said no juveniles involved. That pushback, I believe, against rampant reporting on social media that there were multiple juveniles involved in this. I heard the chief say suspect, not a juvenile, responsible for this carnage, mayhem, and loss of life. No second suspect, the chief said. The weapon has been recovered, this whole thing, amazingly, over in 3 minutes' time. So loss of life in Northeast D.C., a metro bus carjacked by an armed assailant, passengers fleeing in panic, the driver fleeing, a pedestrian losing his life at the scene. The latest for you here live on News Channel 8. We're off tomorrow, back Thursday. I'm Bruce DePoit. We thank you as always for watching. We invite you to keep it here. The news with Dave Lucas is next.